Welcome to The Creative Present, a show that's dedicated to expanding your creative self-expression and at the same time, getting your projects done. And I'm your host, Joshua Townshend. Absolute freedom is the enemy of the creative. Wow. That's crazy talk. That's heresy. That's like, what is going on over there, Joshua? And I'm here to tell you it's totally true. If you live in a world of absolute freedom, like complete freedom, it is equally absolute death to the creative artist. If I were to say to you, go write, go sculpt something, make some music, go make a meal. The vastness, the openness is so huge. It's so overwhelming. It's just like, well, where do I start? What do I do? It's like if someone says, go travel. It's like, okay, there's a big world out there, lots of traveling to go to. It's like, go to San Francisco. Okay, that's something I can do. I know what to pack. I know how far away it is. All those things cut in. It's really healthy for the creative to have parameters, to have a focus of intention, an ability to set something in motion towards something. It doesn't necessarily mean a defined result, but we need a jumping off place. Let's use the writer as the example here. What if I said to the writer, you know what, I want you to write something, and the parameters are that somehow a wedding needs to appear or be a part of the narrative. There needs to be at least 3 characters. You need to give it a very specific time and place, and something has to go wrong. So that's very, very clear in terms of the parameters of what you want to move into. All right. So I'll just go over it again. So the event is a wedding. The minimum characters are 3 characters. It would be a bride and a groom and the mother of the bride. A very specific time and place, and something needs to go wrong. So within those parameters, like the creativity, I can already feel it. It starts to take over me, right? So I'm like, okay, it's a wedding. Okay, great. Now, it could be past, present, or future, right? It doesn't actually have to be an actual wedding. So let's say it's the wedding. I'm going to go with actual wedding, and because that puts a lot of pressure on everyone because it hasn't happened yet. It's not the reception. It's not the rehearsal dinner. It's the actual event. Okay, so I'm going to pick the wedding day, and then I'm going to go into, okay, so we have to have the bride and the groom and the mother of the bride. So let's say the mother of the bride's the one who's paying for everything, and let's say she's dropping like $250,000 on this. Okay, great. So the specific time and place. Okay, specific time and place. I'm going to make it East Coast. I'm going to make it in the middle of a winter storm, so that's good. And because it's a winter storm, that means it's going to be, I'll make it on Christmas Eve. Okay, Christmas Eve, winter storm in Boston, and it's one of the worst storms ever. And she's rented like the Ritz-Carlton, the most expensive, suite, hall, whatever, dropping like serious money, $250,000, $300,000. And the thing that goes wrong is there's a guy who does the deliveries of all the flowers. He's running late. He was supposed to be there at 3. The wedding's at 6, and he shows up at 5. And he has all the flowers, except that it's the flowers that were actually ordered for a funeral. And so it has all those funeral stuff around it. And he's delivering them. And it's 5 o'clock. The guests start arriving at 6. And there's no possible way that this can be remedied from the outside. And go. So that's what I mean. I give myself very specific parameters to play within. And now I'm going to write that scene. I'm going to write that scenario in 15 minutes. But it came from having, a swath of choices based on the original prompt of these are the 3 parameters. Within those parameters, I could totally create. And I had so much fun. Who knows what could happen between this character who's delivering all these flowers and, a high-end venue. And, of course, the bride and the groom and the mother of the bride. And there'll be a host of other characters. We're actually creating something in the moment because we have parameters. And those parameters give us more freedom. So let's go over it for any artist, any creative who wants to do this kind of work. What you want to do is you want to pick healthy parameters for you. One of the parameters I gave myself was that you need to write that in 15 minutes, right? There's a wedding, there's this, there's that. So you want it to make sure that the parameters fit both you, your sensibilities, your artistic creative endeavors, your project, whatever you're focusing on your project, unless you're just, creating just to create, to find your way to a project, your lifestyle, right? So maybe you have an hour to write, maybe you have 12 minutes to write, but give yourself a parameter so you know that, you're going to go all the way, and make it something specific that you want to work on. Like that's a setup for a very fun, maybe romantic comedy that could bend towards romantic comedy, but it could also bend towards the disillusionment of the reality of their relationship. So pick something that's very specific to your project or to your development that you want to grow and develop, because development and growth at the end of the day is what we're about. That's what's going to bring long-term fulfillment to your work, because you're going to keep changing projects, right? You're going to keep changing projects. It's either going to be your own or one that you're being paid to work on, but the projects will always shift. Your talent, your sensibility is the thing that keeps showing up wherever you are. And at the end of it all, it has to be, to some degree, fun. Even if you're struggling and trying to make it work, it still has to be fun, or enjoyment in that drudge, or that pain of going through trying to sort things out. And if there's an element of fun in it, it makes you juicy. It makes you want to show up again tomorrow and do it again. So that's what we're looking for. Have fun, make a commitment, give yourself parameters, and take off. Thank you for listening. If you love what you're listening to, please subscribe and then share with fellow creatives. For more, go to joshuatownsend.com.